And on the Strip.
Would you enjoy waking up and not having to reach for your glasses? See clearly with LASIK from Bismarck LASIK. Imagine no more hassles or expenses of glasses.
It's time for Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Let's go live to the stadium in Bismarck, North Dakota. It's time for Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Thank you, Nick Hallberg, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We are live from the Stadium Lodge this Saturday morning. Oh, look at here. Bison fans already rolling in this morning as the Bison will kick things off this morning at 11 o'clock down in the Fargo Dome as East Tennessee State in town to take on the Bison. But nonetheless, we've got a show full of basketball for you today as the wild and wacky West region took some turns last night in some exciting basketball games. We'll get to those for you here shortly. But coming up today, we're going to open the show up. We're going to talk with Jordan Wilhelm, his team coming off a big victory last night in overtime against the Jamestown Blue Jays. And then we'll talk with Brandon Schaefer. Well, Brandon's team, they were on the other end of that overtime as Century on a last second three-pointer by William Ware. And the Mandan Braves dropped a tough one last night. We'll talk with their head coach. And then we'll take a look at the first look inside the girls' teams as we'll talk with the new head coach of the Century Patriot girls, Nate Wellstead. And then as we roll into the 11 o'clock hour, as we did in years past, we've always had a Hoopster preview. And we'll talk with the gentleman that is in charge of the Hoopster, Perry Henson, as we will take a look at the Class A and Class B girls side of things in the state of North Dakota in basketball, as most teams underway right now. I know some boys teams waiting to get going next week, but nonetheless, we are off and rolling in the winter high school sports season. Let's tell you what's coming up this week on the PSP Network. Tuesday night, you will have a boys and girls doubleheader as Todd Domrys and myself will be at St. Mary's as Dean Winchesky and the Minot Magicians come to town. We'll have two games for you there. And then coming up, we got some hockey on Thursday, Minot High at Legacy. And then we've got a wrestling triangular also as well. And then on Friday, that will lead us into another boys and girls doubleheader. As this time, Chuck Claremont and myself, we will be at Mandan as St. Mary's travels over to take on the Mandan Braves. And then Jamestown and Minot coming up on Saturday in Minot. Nick Hallberg will have the call for you on that one as the Blue Jays and the Magicians go toe-to-toe in on the Frozen Pond. As we talked about before we dive into the high school scene, the FCS playoffs are underway today. Last night, there was one game last night, and I do believe that on the losing end of that one was Montana, as they were beaten 28-6 by James Madison. So James Madison is the first team into the conference semifinals. On the other half of that bracket today, it's Villanova and South Dakota State. That one will kick off at 1 o'clock. And then in the upper half of the bracket, Montana State is down to take on Sam Houston State. That will be a night game tonight. And then, as we said on the other side, North Dakota State taking on East Tennessee State in that one. That one will kick at 11 o'clock. And, folks, if you're looking for a place to watch that game, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon, as they've got a full-service menu. Specials going on throughout the day, a number of TVs on both sides, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here at the Stadium Lodge. As we said last night, the WDA really got into full swing this week. And last night's a game that you heard on the PSP Network, the Dickinson Midgets went up to Minot, and Minot High moves their record to 2-0 as they win that one 67-64 over the Dickinson Midgets. Dickinson drops to 0-2. And then a game here locally, it was Century down 66-65 in overtime. And then at the last, it was a last-second three by William Ware, and Century gets out of there with a 2-point victory over the Mandan Braves, 68-66. And then in another wild, high-scoring affair, it was Bismarck High knocking off Jamestown 86-83. That one in double overtime. So the Bismarck Demons picking up their second win of the season as well. And then Legacy, well, they knocked off Watford City 88-47. And St. Mary's traveled up to Williston, and they won that one 81-43. It's a short turnaround for a couple teams today coming up. Dickinson, they continue their road trip as they travel over to take on Turtle Mountain. That'll be a 3:30 game. Williston will be in town to take on the Legacy Sabres at 3:45, and Minot will travel over to take on Devils Lake in the non-contest game. That one will be at 4 o'clock on the boys' side. So as we set right now, Minot High, Bismarck, and Century, all 2-0 in the early going in the West region, and then Legacy, they're 1-1, but their only loss was a non-conference loss to Fargo North. They sit at 1-1, and St. Mary's is at 1-1 as well. On the girls' side of things, well, they were in action again last night. Legacy, a big win on the road as they knock off Watford City. Bismarck High, the Demons, all over Jamestown, 82-65. And Century continues their undefeated season so far as they knocked off Mandan 66-50. And Turtle Mountain knocked off the Dickinson girls 57-41. And today, the only action on the girls' front, it will be Dickinson is at Minot. As we look at the standings there, Century Bismarck High on top at 2-0. Turtle Mountain 1-0, Legacy 1-0, Jamestown 1-1, and then Minot High has yet to play a conference game. So today it will be their first conference game today as Dickinson in town to take on Minot, and that one I do believe you will be able to hear. Yes, you will, as that one will be on the PSP network as well. Scotty Cattell and Nick Hallberg will have the call for you on that one on the PSP network. So stay tuned as we've got lots of basketball coming up for you in the month of December. We're certainly looking forward to bringing it to you as it should be a fun ride throughout the season. We talked about the Bison today and playing, and certainly the talk this week in perusing social media has been the lack of attendance at these Bison games. Again, as of Thursday, it had been reported that they had over 5,000 tickets left, and then, of course, a number of folks that you follow, Dom Izzo, Jeff Kolpak, throwing out what is the reasoning for that. And, well, I guess the number one thing that really popped up was they got to serve beer. And now whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But certainly, hopefully that obviously saw Carson Wentz was out there buying some tickets for some folks as well. A couple, I believe I'm not sure who the other one. There was one other player that was doing the same thing. So certainly now they're trying to get the alumni involved in that. So it will be interesting to see today what the attendance is like at the Fargo Dome as East Tennessee State comes into town. Take a look at some local hockey action too as well. Legacy picks up a win last night. They defeat Hazen Beulah 8-1. So Legacy 2-4-1 on the season. Century knocks off Dickinson 3-2, and Williston in a non-conference game defeats International Falls of Minnesota by a score of 6-2. Today, Williston, they'll turn around and take on International Falls again, and then Dickinson will be at Minot. And we can take a look, too, on the girls hockey side of things. In action last night, Minot knocks off Jamestown 3-1. Mandan all over Devils Lake 13-0. It was Grand Forks defeating Dickinson 4-0. Davies all over Williston 8-1. And Bismarck and West Fargo United tied 2-2. But Bismarck wins the shootout in that one. So picked up a big victory there for the Bismarck Blizzard. And Davies in the North Dakota League standings on the girls' side, they lead it. They're 4-0 with 12 points, followed by West Fargo United with 10, Minot with 9, Mandan with 9, Grand Forks with 9, and Bismarck with 8. So a logjam there at the top on the girls' side of things for the girls hockey front. Also, I believe we may have some wrestling action taking place today as well. Yeah, we do today. Yes, as there was some matches last night, but today there's a Grand Forks dual tournament, Rapid City, South Dakota invite, Maple Grove invite, and a Carrington tournament as well. So I'm sure a lot of those teams, local teams, have made their way to some of those wrestling invitational as well. So again, as we said, the high school season is in full swing on both the boys and girls side of things. And then on the Class B front, I know the girls are in action, and also the boys, a majority of them get underway today on the or not today, but this week as they start a week later on the boys side. So again, stay tuned. Keep us tuned in on the PSP network, as we're going to have a lot of action for you. I know coming up at the end of this month, we're going to be able to get back to a place we haven't been in about a year or so, is the Mandan Holiday Tournament. Is looking forward to that. We'll cover all games for you, and you'll be able to hear and watch that one right here on the PSP network. We're excited for that. So certainly let's tune in, and along the way we're going to have up until the 21st, and then we get about a 4-day break, and then we get right back into it. So certainly looking forward to bringing that to you right here on the PSP network. As is today this week, Todd Darmy's Chuck Claremont kicked it off earlier this week, and boy, I tell you what, bang-up job those fellas did. Certainly may have had a little bit of camera issue, but we got that all figured out, so we're going to be ready to roll on the camera side of things, as again, we'll have a lot of those televised for you today, as we're trying to bring up the most recent let's see here, the most recent Class B boys basketball poll. Well, no, that is not it, as that would have been last year, but I know that poll has come out, and I should have had that handy, but of course I do not. But we'll try to track that down for you. We'll be able to talk a little bit more about the girls' poll when we have a chance to talk with Perry Hansen and find out more about that on the Class A and Class B girls' side. And again, we want to give a shout-out to Perry, and we'll do that when we bring him on. So graciously giving us a Miss Hoopster and Hoopster to make our lives a lot easier when it comes to bringing you these games on the PSP network. So, again, a big shout-out to Perry Hansen for doing that. And, again, you're going to be able to hear Perry this year, as Perry and Joe Cattell and Cole Higlin have so kindly decided to step in and help us out with some color commentary. So we're certainly looking forward to that. And also another thing we've got to do is give a shout-out to, look at there, the crack staff, Nick Hallberg, on top of things. See? If a guy had been prepared, but nonetheless, the top 10 poll looks like this. Enderlin and Kindred tied at 1. Four Winds Minnewacan at 3. Beulah 4. Shiloh 5. North Border 6. Hillsborough Central Valley 7. Trinity in at 8. Dunseith at 9. And Rugby in on 10 on the boys' side. On the girls' side of things, Central Cass, of course, on top at they're 2-0 on the season. Kindred 2-0. Those two teams not surprising there. Grafton 2-0. Lytton HMB, well, they just continue their run from the volleyball season to the basketball season. They're 3-0. Four Winds Minnewacan in at 5 at 3-0. Thompson at 2-0. Langdon Area Edmore Munich at 7. Shiloh at 8. Kenmare at 9. And Rugby at 10. Rugby already 4 games in, and they were not ranked last week. And Langdon and Shiloh moved up as they were 9. Also, Thompson moved up. Nick Hallberg again. The crack staff on the Class A side of things, the most recent boys poll. It was Century 1, West Fargo 2, Davies 3, Minot 4, Bismarck 5. And then on the girls' side, Century 1, West Fargo 2, Davies 3, Bismarck 4, and Legacy 5. So there's your updated polls from across the state of North Dakota. And I got to give a shout-out to Lucas Schweigert, as Lucas Schweigert, the UND football recruit, will be taking his talents to the University of North Dakota and play for Bubba Schweigert, as he was named the Gatorade Athlete of the Year in North Dakota. So a very well-deserved honor for Lucas Schweigert in high school football. As, again, as we said, he will take his talents, and what a season he had, what a career he had for Ron Wingenbach and the Century Pages. So congratulations to Lucas Schweigert on winning that award. We'll take a timeout. We come back. We'll talk with our first guest this morning, the head coach of the Bismarck Demons boys basketball team, Jordan Wilhelm. Back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee after this timeout.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoo?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3, on low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Have real questions about your future? Here's your real answer. BSC offers hands-on training and a real college experience, making your future a reality. You don't have to travel far and wide for a really great education. Check us out at bismarckstate.edu.
BMC has been here for over 25 years.
We're still a community bank that's there for you.
When you come in with your business plan, your vision, your idea, we can make it a reality.
I love seeing projects come alive for our clients.
We're real people helping real people.
We know you, and we're always happy to see you.
We build relationships. You're part of the BNC family.
We are part of the community.
It's what we're built on.
Yours truly, BNC.
Got big plans? No matter what the size of the project, Bobcat of Mandan has a tough Bobcat skid steer or track loader for any job. Call Bobcat of Mandan and rent the perfect machine. Rentals are available by the day, week, or month with multiple attachment options, and even a trailer when available. Special weekend rates too. Bobcat of Mandan also has Doosan excavators and payloaders, plus Coyote tractors for rent. Get the work done fast. Bobcat of Mandan on the Strip.
Would you enjoy waking up and not having to reach
stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee?
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you on Overtime. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network as we are live from the Stadium Lodge as folks starting to file in as the Bison getting ready to kick things off at 11 o'clock. If you're looking for a place to watch the game or just have some lunch, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. And throughout the day, full-service menu, specials going on, as Danny and the staff will certainly take care of you up here today. While we roll into our first guest as we continue our journey through the West Region boys basketball season. And joining me on the phone right now is the head coach of the Bismarck Demons, Jordan Wilhelm. Willie, good morning. How are you this morning?
Doing well. How are you, Woody?
Well, good, Willie. And I'll tell you what, last night, we'll get into that one later, but let's rewind back a little bit and talk about, when you started this season, knowing you brought some kids back and you brought a big piece back in Trayson Eaglestaff, but we certainly know in some of the stories we've seen done on Trayson, what he's done and his attitude. But Willie, as you started and you went through practice, I mean, what was your what was your thoughts on what kind of basketball team you're going to have?
Well, obviously, when you return a kid like Eagle Staff, it puts a lot of confidence in you as a coach, because when you know you got one of the, if not the best kid in the court, it makes a lot of other people's lives pretty easy. But, we had a feeling coming in that our depth was going to be one of our strengths. And I think a lot of people just keep asking, who's going to be your second leading scorer? Who's going to be your third leading scorer? And my response generally was, I think it's going to be different, because we have a lot of guys that can score and a lot of guys that can make open shots. And, George Gillette early on has kind of made himself that second scorer and that guy that can kind of play beside Trayson. But in the first night, Stutz had 14. Last night, Carter Hankey stepped up, and I think he had 16 last night. And so I think on any given night, you're going to see some different guys stepping up for us into that kind of second scoring role.
Yeah, and Willie, one of the things that one of the comments or one of the things that you mentioned to the folks, to Perry at the Hoopster, was in losing the guys that you lost. And the one thing that you mentioned is that you're going to be looking for toughness. Yep. Have you found that maybe yet, or are you starting to see that develop a little bit? I know it's early, and maybe that's something that's got to come after the Christmas break. But I mean, are you maybe starting to see some of those guys?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about it. If you've caught any of our first two games, our press this season, I think, has a chance to be pretty dang good. We have a group of guys, about 4 or 5 kids that are playing the top of our press, and that's where we have to have our toughest kids. And if you look right now between Mason Huber and Ethan Stutz, Carter Sims, we have about 4 or 5 guys that can really be nasty at the top of that press. And if you can play hard and make teams uncomfortable, it just makes the rest of our defense and offense that much more fluid, and you can play at so much more of a pace when you can kind of set the tone at the top of the press.
You talked about, Willie, you talked about as a coach and your staff and what it does, how it makes things easier for you when you've got a guy like Trayson and just seeing how he's developed. What do you think a guy like that does for the attitude of the players? I mean, and I think it's fair to say that Trayson is a guy that's a very unselfish guy. I mean, he's going to go get his points, and he's going to get them no matter what. But I think he understands that. But from the other players' mentality, what do you think they feel like when they know they've got a guy like that on the floor and know that, hey, if we need a hoop, he's the guy we can get one from?
Well, I think there's a couple things. I think, first of all, you're going to come into any game with a ton of confidence, knowing that, you got a guy that's going to get you anywhere from 20 to 40, I guess. I don't know.
That would have been the range I would have used, Willie. I would have used 20 to 40. I don't think you can leave. Right. I don't think you can leave the 40 off the map this season, because we've already seen it done.
42 on Tuesday, right? Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to have confidence, but I mean, the second part of it is, Trayson's a fantastic teammate. Yesterday, he fouls out early in the first overtime, and where a lot of teams will get nervous, where a lot of players like Trayson could go to the sideline and pout or be mad about it. He completely supported his teammates. He's on his feet. He's the most vocal player in the huddle, supporting his team. So, I mean, that's a big thing with it. But also, along with that, it can also be difficult playing with a kid like Trayson as well, because, you got to be able to accept a role. And I think everybody, growing up, you think you're going to be that guy that gets to take 15 to 20 shots in the game. And ultimately, we're playing 13 guys right now, and every single person on our team needs to accept a role. So sometimes it's not easy, and everybody can't handle it. So it's being able to find guys that can accept those roles, buy into maybe playing 7 to 10 minutes a game and just playing the top of the press and being the toughest guy on the court. So for us, it's going to be a process, and we really feel like we got a good core of guys that are accepting those roles and understanding those responsibilities. And the cool thing for us is right now, not only are they being those kids at the top of the press, being those kids that are getting loose balls, well, we had 2 overtime periods yesterday without Trayson to prove that we can carry ourselves, when Trayson gets into foul trouble. That was that's what was great about last night's win is, we saw adversity. We had to battle without Trayson. Ethan Stutz fouled out of the game. Playing different types of defenses, situationally, offensively, defensively. I mean, just a fantastic win for us early in the season for a team with a lot of inexperience, quite frankly.
Yeah, it certainly is. And, Willie, I go back to, the days that I spent with the Dakota Wizards, and you watch all these guys coming in here, try to make it to the next level. And it goes back to what you said about to the NBA. And I always use the mentality of the guys at the NBA, they're not looking for a guy to come out and get them 25, 30 a night. They've got 2 or 3 of those guys already. They're looking for the guy that can get on the floor, play defense, get some rebounds, get a couple of steals, and work his tail off for 10 minutes. And I think you touched on that. And I think a kid like that is probably got more of an opportunity to see the floor. Now, would you like him to go get 25? Sure you would. But I think those kind of kids are the kind of kids that are going to help you and your basketball team.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And that's what's been great about, the shift and the move that we've made to the style that we have is we can find roles for guys that just are tough. I mean, just guys that want to play hard, that can commit to a role. And when you're playing 13 guys, you don't need 13 guys to get you 20. What you need is guys that understand their roles and where they're supposed to play and can be coachable. And so for us, making that shift, it's been fun because we can create roles for guys that maybe we couldn't have 5 to 10 years ago.
We're talking with Jordan Wilhelm, the head coach of the Bismarck Demons. And, Willie, I know you had a preseason scrimmage, but you're 2 games into this thing. And again, I understand it's early, and you and I might have a different conversation in the middle of January. But what have you seen from this team? And I guess what I'll throw it out and say, what does this team need to get better at doing?
I think ultimately we need to get in better shape in order to play the style. We need to be able to play at that pace and tempo for 36 minutes, and it's not easy to do.
You know what that means come Monday morning.
And I think our kids understand that. We're trying to get that through to them that, we're not running to punish these guys. We're running so once February and March hits, we can be, the toughest team and be able to, because our goal is to be able to play at the fastest tempo, to be the team that's setting the pace and to be able to do it for 36 minutes. And our goal is by the end of the game, when the other teams, their gas tanks are on E, that we are still pushing at, full. So right now we just can't quite do that. Even with guys playing in 1 to 2 minute stints, at the end of the game, you can't play at that pace even for a minute by the time the end of the game comes because fatigue sets in.
Well, and you can see what obviously we know what pace you want to play at, and obviously when you play that way, I mean, and it appears, Willie, are other teams, do you think, and I got the impression that Darren Mattern is trying to do the same thing. Are they going to try to adapt your style? Because, that Mandan gets 84 on you, Jamestown gets 83 on you. Granted, it was in double overtime, but are you starting to see maybe a little shift in the league with that?
I think there's no doubt about it. I haven't went and looked at exactly what the scores have been, but, I mean, for a long time, the top 2-3 teams in the league were getting 65 a night, and they were giving up 47 a night. Now, the top 2-3 teams in the league, I mean, us and Minot, who played in the WA title game last year, both averaged over 85.
Yep.
So, yeah, you don't see that very often. I think early on last year, some teams tried to incorporate a press.
Sure.
And what you find out early on, if you don't make a full commitment to it, it's not going to work because you have to be able to send kids to the bench. And sometimes it's tough as a coach to give up some of that.
Yep.
Being able to send a kid to the bench is not an easy thing to do sometimes because you want to increase those minutes. So, but there's no doubt about it. I think teams in our league are starting to play faster. They're starting to play with more tempo and more pace. And ultimately, I think it's good for the league. I think it's good for kids. I think it's more fun to watch. And I think kids just enjoy playing it more. So, you feel like it's a good shift.
Yeah, you certainly have made that shift, and more importantly, not having a let's just say a non-conference game like some of these other teams did to go down and just kind of see what you're going to have. You go right into the conference season, and boy, I tell you what, we all know what it's like. I mean, it's never easy in the West region, but to go on the road this week and get 2 road wins, Willie. Boy, that's I'd say you have to feel pretty pleased as you're off and running early in the season.
We do, and actually, I mean, last night's game was a home game.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Yep.
We're on the road on Tuesday. Last night we were at home, but yeah, just being able to get a win anytime in this league is obviously a good one. Tuesday, with Mandan's band rocking, the whole gym packed. Our first game, they're playing their second game. We're trying to get game legs. Both games we're down with 5 to 6 minutes left, and being able to execute down the stretch. So playing situationally, it's absolutely this time of year. Are there things that we need to get better at? Of course. Are there things that we see where we need to improve? Yeah, but everybody does this time of year. Your goal isn't to be, as good as you can be by now anyways. It's not until February, March. So, But to grind out those wins, I'm, proud of our guys' grit. I think they've shown character these last two games. So, we're excited where we're at.
Yeah, and obviously a well-deserved couple days off. Maybe if you're not a Bismarck Demon player, because you know what's coming Monday afternoon when schools lets out in practice. It's gonna be on the line, fellas. But Willie, you don't get back to action until Friday, so
Right.
you really got some. Let's just say a nice early little break for you to get some things figured out as you get set to go on that road trip up to the Northwest.
Yeah, that's what's nice about it. Sometimes during the season, it's tough to find practices where you can get it work in, because it feels like it's game, pregame, game, pregame. And you have so much of that going on. So, like, anytime you get a full week with us getting Monday through Thursday to get practice in, as a coach, you lick your fingers and, you lick your chops because you're excited to get back to work. Some of these kids, I think, they'd rather play games sometimes. But ultimately, I think they understand that, it's got to be a work week and a week where we can, get back to the basics and, really study some film and see where we're at moving forward.
Yeah, certainly, again, a great start, Willie, to you. Congratulations on that. Best of luck coming up this week. I'm sure we'll do it again soon as we move through this wild and wacky West Region season. Enjoy the Saturday. Don't turn on any game film, Willie. Wait till tomorrow, right?
Sounds good, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Right,
Jordan Wilhelm,
you too.
the head coach of the Bismarck High Demons boys basketball team, as his team picked up a home win last night in double overtime against the Jamestown Blue Jays. We'll take another timeout. When we come back, we'll talk with the head coach of the Mandan Braves, Brandon Schaefer, back with more after this timeout.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know.
Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz, zzz?
I think your quash leader valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3. On low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Have real questions about your future? Here's your real answer. BSC offers hands-on training and a real college experience, making your future a reality. You don't have to travel far and wide for a really great education. Check us out at bismarckstate.edu.
BMC has been here for over 25 years.
We're still a community bank that's there for you.
When you come in with your business plan, your vision, your idea, we can make it a reality.
I love seeing projects come alive for our clients.
We're real people helping real people.
We know you, and we're always happy to see you.
We build relationships. You're part of the BNC family.
We are part of the community.
It's what we're built on.
Yours truly, BNC.
Got big plans? No matter what the size of the project, Bobcat of Mandan has a tough Bobcat skid steer or track loader for any job. Call Bobcat of Mandan and rent the perfect machine. Rentals are available by the day, week, or month with multiple attachment options, and even a trailer when available. Special weekend rates too. Bobcat of Mandan also has Doosan excavators and payloaders, plus Coyote tractors for rent. Get the work done fast. Bobcat of Mandan on the Strip.
Would you enjoy waking up and not having to reach for your glasses? See clearly with LASIK from Bismarck LASIK. Imagine no more hassles or expenses of glasses and contacts. At Bismarck LASIK, our highly experienced LASIK surgeon, Dr. Stephen Wexler, and our state-of-the-art clinic can improve your vision through a quick corrective procedure that's affordable and life-changing. Book your free consultation with Bismarck LASIK. Call 701-222-2020, 701-222-2020, or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
The best part about working at BNC National Bank is developing relationships.
I love working with people.
We've been here for over 25 years.
We've grown just like our communities we're in.
But we still have that personal connection with our customers.
And that's why we can find the best solutions for them.
It feels great seeing projects around the community and knowing we're a small part of making that happen.
We're helping people buy their first homes.
Plan for the future.
From startups to big business.
We're part of the community.
And we're proud of it.
Yours truly, BNC.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Yeah, welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard this morning on the PSP Network on what appears to be a bright, sunshiny Saturday morning. And, hey, we're live from the Stadium Lodge. If you're looking for a place to watch the Bison game, they're coming up right around the corner here. Make the Stadium Lodge your home, full-service menu. Drink specials going on today as Danny and the staff will take care of you up here at the Stadium Lodge. Well, we roll into our next guest and our final local look at our West Region boys basketball high school teams. And joining me on the line right now is the head coach of the Mandan Braves, Brandon Schaefer. Brandon, good morning. How are you this morning?
Good morning. What are you doing? Well, had a tough one last night, but we're here.
Well, hey, the sun's up and you're upright, and I guess those are two positives that hold that negative. But nonetheless, Brandon, we'll talk a little bit more, not much about that last night game, but Brandon, let's go back to the start of the season. You know, knowing what you got in your basketball team coming off a state tournament appearance last year, and you come back and boy, you return only one starter to this basketball team in Aaron Grubb, and certainly a great athlete on the football field and the basketball floor, But Brandon, as you started, you walk into your first practice, and what were your overall initial thoughts, and what do you envision this team to look like, when you get into February and March?
Well, obviously that's the nature of high school basketball is turnover, and Aaron was the only returner that really played. We had two other guys that saw the floor, but it was usually for one half with Lucas Bergum and Nathan Girding. But I was excited for the start of the year. We had a lot of guys that, some opportunities where, hey, there's primetime minutes available. There's bigger roles available for me. And the kids have just come to work and, their effort level has been phenomenal. And that's what I've been most happy with is how hard we've been playing practice and then obviously in our 3 games.
Yeah, you talk about that, the 3 games, and you go through practice, and it gets to the point where, Brandon, guys are tired of beating on their own guys, and you guys had the opportunity last weekend to go down to West Fargo Cheyenne and play a pretty good basketball team, but 68-45, you came out on the losing end there, and I guess. What did you take away from that opening round, from that first non-conference game against West Fargo Cheyenne, Brandon?
Well, we were in foul trouble. It never helps when Aaron Grubb, your best player, only plays 12 minutes. And, we had a couple other guys in foul trouble as well. Try Frank, Carson Jablonski. But, again, we were there. I mean, if we can get if we can start figuring out how to take care of the basketball and securing defensive rebounds, I mean, the wins are gonna start showing up. And I just, again, our effort, I think we just play so hard, and I think the kids are starting to believe and see what we're capable of doing, even though we have 3 losses.
Yeah, and as we said, too, Brandon, it's early on in the season, and you got a long way to go yet. And you talked about it, 95-84 to Bismarck High, and then last night a tough overtime game, 68-66. But I think, Brandon, what that's probably got to tell you is that with the new group that you have in, and 2 teams that can really primarily have been in the upper echelon of, let's just call it, of the West region, is that your kids got to have taken some confidence out of those 2 games, though, and saying, hey, we can play with these guys, and we know that we're going to get another shot at these guys and hopefully get a chance to knock them off. But what do you think those 2 games really brought to your kids as far as a confidence level? Those kids that have not seen, and primarily, that Bismarck High game playing really in their second varsity game ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been kind of crazy, the first game against Cheyenne, that was most everyone's first varsity game.
Yep.
And then we host Bismarck High. That's their first WDA game against that pressure. They've never seen that before. And then last night, that's the first time they've ever went into a tough environment on the road. And I mean, the place was just wild. And our kids just have went through a lot of adversity. There's no quit in our team. I mean, last night we're down 5 with a little over 2 minutes going overtime, and Carson Jablonski steps in and makes a 3. We get a stop, comes down at the end. He makes the shot with 2.4 seconds to go, and it just falls in, bounces away the last 2.4 seconds. But the kids competed, and that's all you can ask for as a coach. And I was extremely proud of the guys, and like you said, the confidence level. I think they just are continuing to see what we're capable of doing, and I think we're excited to continue to get better because there's so many things we can improve on early in the season.
Yeah, we're talking with Brandon Schaefer, the head coach of the Mandan Braves. And, Brandon, obviously, when you talk about the changeover in personnel, and I know you've gone from, you've had some big kids in your system, and now you've got to adjust. And what I'm leading to, Brandon, is what are people going to see when they come out and watch? What style? Let's offensively. What style are folks going to see out of the Mandan Braves? I mean, are you going to get it? It appears that you ran with Bismarck High, putting up 84 last night. A little bit different, maybe a little bit, more deep, whatever. But what kind of style are folks going to see out of Brandon Schaefer and the Mandan Braves?
I think versatility. I think we're going to be able to adapt to anyone we play, but. We want to play fast when we have those opportunities, but if we don't have that transition look, we're going to have to be disciplined and share the basketball on the offensive end. And that's something we got to continue to do better, is trust each other, get the ball moving from side to side, and look for a chance to attack the basket. And then defensively, you're going to see toughness. We may not be the tallest group, but we're going to be a tough team on the floor. Any 5 we put on the court, they're going to go up there and compete, and they're going to battle whether they're 5-6 inches undersized from the guy they're guarding. We're going to do everything we can to compete.
Yeah, and certainly there's no question when watching your teams, you guys, there's no question you come out and compete, and so now you get, Brandon, you get some time off here as you guys do not get back into action. It appeared until next Friday, and after these couple of games this week, your first couple of games in the WDA, you talked about the competitiveness and how your kids are going to compete night in and night out. But what are some things maybe, Brandon, that you took out of these 2 games, you and your staff, that you need to work on leading up to that game versus St. Mary's, by the way, which we will be over covering that one? What needs to happen? What does this team need to do maybe to get better here in the early going?
Well, offensively, we got to do a better job of, we talk to our kids all the time about just simple things, just like a jump stop. You know, offensively, each night in the first half, I think the first 8 minutes, I think we had about 5 turnovers because we didn't come to a jump stop. So just simple things that we need to clean up. Defensively, our rotations need to continue to improve, and we took a couple charges last night, but we're out of position on a couple other ones, and then focusing on box outs. You know, I think what we gave up 15 offensive rebounds last night, so that's something we got to cut down. So again, if we cut down the turnovers and opposing teams' offensive rebounds, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win a lot of games.
Yeah, certainly. Again, you can see this team's going to compete night in and night out, and certainly, as we said, it's a long way, Brandon. But hey, man, looking forward to being over there. It should be another great game. St. Mary's off to a pretty decent start. They come over to Braves Gymnasium and you get a crack at the St. Mary Saints. So looking forward to that. Brandon, appreciate the time this morning. Best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll talk again soon, my friend, all right?
Thanks, Woody. I appreciate it.
Hey, you got it, man. Brandon Schaefer, the head coach of the Mandan Braves boys basketball team. His team, a tough loss last night in overtime, 68-66. Mandan 0-2 to start the season, but don't sleep on the Mandan Braves, as they're going to get some wins along the way, and they hope to do that to get back on the winning trail coming up on Friday as they play host to the St. Mary Saints. We'll take another timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. We come back, we'll take our first look inside the girls' West Region side of things when we talk with the new head coach of the Century Patriot girls, Nate Wellstead. Back with more after this timeout.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know. Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3. On low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Have real questions about your future? Here's your real answer. BSC offers hands-on training and a real college experience, making your future a reality. You don't have to travel far and wide for a really great education. Check us out at bismarckstate.edu.
BNC has been here for over 25 years.
We're still a community bank that's there for you.
When you come in with your business plan, your vision, your idea, we can make it a reality.
I love seeing projects come alive for our clients.
We're real people helping real people.
We know you, and we're always happy to see you.
We build relationships. You're part of the BNC family.
We are part of the community.
It's what we're built on.
Yours truly, BNC.
Got big plans? No matter what the size of the project, Bobcat of Mandan has a tough Bobcat skid steer or track loader for any job. Call Bobcat of Mandan and rent the perfect machine. Rentals are available by the day, week, or month with multiple attachment options and even a trailer when available. Special weekend rates too. Bobcat of Mandan also has Doosan excavators and payloaders, plus Coyote tractors for rent. Get the work done fast. Bobcat of Mandan on the Strip.
Would you enjoy waking up and not having to reach for your glasses? See clearly with LASIK from Bismarck LASIK. Imagine no more hassles or expenses of glasses and contacts. At Bismarck LASIK, our highly experienced LASIK surgeon, Dr. Stephen Wexler, and our state-of-the-art clinic can improve your vision through a quick corrective procedure that's affordable and life-changing. Book your free consultation with Bismarck LASIK. Call 701-222-2020, 701-222-2020, or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Yeah, welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network as we are live from the Stadium Lodge. The Bison game about ready to kick off, about 10 minutes away. Some folks filing in, so if you're looking for a place to watch a game and have some lunch, make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Full-service menu specials going on as Danny and the staff will take care of you up here today. So make the Stadium Lodge your choice this afternoon. Well, now we have perused through the boys' side of things, and now we take our first look at the girls' inside look at the girls' West region in the Bismarck-Mandan area. And joining me right now is the new head coach of the Century Patriots girls basketball team, Nate Wellstead. Nate, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. I guess, Nate, first and foremost, congratulations on the new position. I guess I got to ask you, Nate, I mean, for you and coaching those, being assistant with those boys teams for all those years, was the transition pretty easy?
Yeah, I think it was a good transition. You know, I'm real familiar with the program at Century, and making the switch from boys to girls seemed pretty natural. So, and it helps to have some good talent coming back and girls that I kind of had familiar with. So.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Nate, anytime you take over a program and you got a first-team All-Stater who broke a number of records last year, that makes things pretty easy as a head coach, knowing where you can start with this girls program.
Yeah, you know, and the talent's there, but what I've been more impressed with is how hard these girls work in every day in, day out. They bring their lunch pail and they're willing to learn and get better. So.
And Nate, what and let's go back. I know you're 3 games into the season already. A win last night over Mandan, but let's go back to the start of practice. And I mean, did you see? Did you know? I mean, you knew the talent you had coming back, but did you see that the effort that you just talked about was going to be there when you started practice, or is this something maybe that they've developed, that they continue to develop, day in and day out as they get into the gym after school for practice?
Yeah, actually we had a good summer working with all these girls and kind of team camps and stuff like that. I got to know their personalities, and the summer we were out with Logan was out most of the time, and the 4 seniors I had, they did a good job, kind of setting the tone of how hard they're going to work and what kind of team they're going to be, and that definitely is kind of carried over through the practices, and now we're just kind of demanding that they keep bringing that effort every day.
Yeah, and you talk, certainly you get through the practices, and then you get into that first game, and Moorhead comes to town. A big 40-point victory there, and I guess and you probably got to get some kids some playing time, and the one thing you want to do in the West region is develop some depth. I mean, I guess let's start there, Nate. I mean, what does it look like as far as the depth of your basketball team this year?
Yeah, it starts with those 4 seniors. That's kind of our leaders. And then in our junior class, of course, we got Kinnebrew and Nisley. And then, I've been real happy. We've been bringing Lid Simmons off the bench, and she gives us some nice energy. And, in the WDA, you got to play 8, 9, and we're playing 8 right now, kind of searching for a 9th. And last night, unfortunately, I think Callie Mattern went down with an ankle, so we were a little shorthanded. But we're always looking for 1 or 2 more girls, so.
Yeah, and you talked about, obviously, when you talk about the Century Patriot girls this year in Logan Nisley, and just, the outstanding basketball player she is. But, Nate, watching this team last year, go on the run that they did, undefeated, state championship again, and I really one of the girls that really stood out to me was Kinnebrew. And I tell you what, I really think that if I had to pick one girl that's going to be a pick to click and be a real difference maker for you this season, it's got to be Bergen Kinnebrew. Is that a fair statement, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. And we saw that last night. Logan was a little hampered with an ankle. She had sprained in practice before, and I thought Kinnebrew did a really good job stepping up and kind of pressing the issue a little bit. We always tell those girls we got to get some more downhill drives where they're attacking the basket and either creating a shot for themselves or kicking out to their teammates. And I thought she did a real nice job of just keep pressing it until she could get one for herself or for her teammates. So yeah, we kind of expect that out of her, and she's definitely a talented one too. So
Yeah, she is. We're talking with Nate Wellstead, the head girls coach at Century, and Nate, when you look at this group of ladies you have, and you talk about Logan Nisley, and obviously, what she's done, but is it fair to say that this is a pretty good tight knit group of girls, and it doesn't every night in and night out, it doesn't have to be the Logan Nisley show, because I think you've proven and shown that you've got some other people that you can go to if you need to get that basket, if you need to, have somebody else step up during that, because the intention that Logan's going to draw. But I think that's what I see with your team this year.
Yeah, we definitely preach. We got to have all 5 girls out there contributing, and in our offensive system, we're it's anybody we feel has a chance is going to make a shot when they put it up, and but more importantly, probably on the defensive end, I've been stressing, we got to play as 5, and everybody's got to give the same effort on defense. And I think that's kind of been our key so far.
As you look at this, Nate, 3 games into the season, and again, I know it's early and it's a continuous process, but as you turn around, a short turnaround as you got Turtle Mountain coming up on Tuesday, but maybe what are some of the things that this team's got to improve it? What are some areas this team's got to improve in your mind?
Well, we got lots of things we got to work on. It's early, and we're still figuring out our identity, and then we got a lot of things to clean up. We've been talking a lot about the turnovers. I feel like right now we're trying to always hit that home run play, trying to force some passes in there, and sometimes you just got to slow down and make the easy read first, and then let it come a little bit. So take care of the basketball. And then, the biggest challenge for these girls is I think we're challenging them to play really fast on defense.
Yep.
And then on offense, you got to learn how to slow down. And I keep stressing, when you have the ball, you own the tempo of the game, and you got to learn to be under control at all times when you got the basketball. So, yeah, definitely a lot to work on yet. So.
Well, I guess I wouldn't expect anything less. Only 3 games into this season, but Nate, you've seen this for a number of years from the boys' side, and what a battle, what a grind this West region is. And now you get the firsthand look. You've seen a little bit on the girls' side, but certainly, it's not going to be an easy run. Bismarck High's off to a fast start. Legacy's got to win. Again, I know it's early, but boy, I tell you what, this West region, it's going to be a battle night in and night out on this girls' side of things, because there's going to be some teams. Turtle Mountain's got a victory. So your thoughts on the overall landscape as you look at the girls' side of the West region this year?
Yeah, it's definitely a battle night in and night out. And I think Turtle Mountain's got 2 wins on the year, and that's our next opponent.
Yes,
so
they do.
Our mentality is just one game at a time. And as you know, that WDA, as the season goes on, everybody gets better, and by the end, it's always just a dogfight, and that's what makes it fun. Last night after our game, I said, hey, that was a fun game just because we had to compete every possession. And as a basketball player, I challenged our girls, you got to thrive for that. The competition is what you should be playing for. So
yeah, and as a coach too, it's like you said, to be able to compete, and I'm sure you're just like any other coach that you talk to in the West region, is you want to be playing your best basketball when it gets to the end of February. And when you play games like that and get in games like that, and particularly for those girls that maybe didn't see a lot of varsity minutes, that certainly makes them a lot tougher as you get into the meat of your basketball schedule.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and a lot of our girls, their roles are different this year than they were last year. And
yep.
The nice thing is a lot of them were successful at the volleyball level, and just learning how to compete. That's one thing nice at Century is a lot of our girls are multi-sport athletes, so they've been there in different sports, and now we're asking them to, try to duplicate some of that on the basketball court.
Nate, I got to ask you this question, and the only I bring it up is this past week I was out, around the northwest part of the state, and it seemed to be the talk was just like the numbers in girls basketball, and at the class. What do you see? I mean, what do you hear from like, let's just like a statewide, maybe East and West in Class A? Are the numbers in girls basketball going down a little bit? I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to put a finger on this.
You know, I think the numbers have kind of just stayed at a lower level than it used to be.
Okay.
You know, it's definitely, that's one of the challenges as a coach is you got to make sure you're getting all the girls that have played to, you know, enjoy the process and stick with it. Yeah, a lot of the schools in the state now are carrying 3 teams where it used to you'd have 4, and you know it makes it tough if you don't have teams to play out there. We're lucky this year we were able to get enough bodies in, and we've got 4 teams, and you know that's one thing going forward. You know, I want to keep stressing with our feeder system. You know, have a good experience for them, and you know show them that it's something you want to be a part of. So yeah, we're definitely focusing on that at Century, and you know, I just hope that trend that because sports is such a great thing for our youth, and I don't want to see kids missing out on opportunities. So
yeah, because you don't get it back. I mean,
no.
you only get one shot at it, just like anything else. You get one shot at it, and you certainly want to see these kids take that shot. And if it's in multiple sports, even better.
Right. Yep. And I truly believe if you want to be successful, the more you play different sports, the better you get. So that's definitely a culture thing we've established at Century, and we'll keep pushing. So.
Yeah, you certainly have, and overall, they've done a great job. Well, Nate, hey man, as always, appreciate the time this morning. Congratulations on the new gig, and I'm sure we'll see you here in the gym coming up, and we'll talk again soon. All right?
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Hey, you got it, buddy. Nate Wellstead, the head coach of the girls basketball team. The Century girls basketball team, as his team is 3-0 on the season, as they get set to take on Turtle Mountain next week, coming up on Tuesday. We'll take another timeout. We come back. We'll start our Inside Our Hoopster preview when we talk with the editor of the Hoopster and Miss Hoopster, Perry Hansen. Back with more after this timeout.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know. Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zzz, zzz?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3, on low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day. Whether you're looking for a full-service financial plan or planning for farm or business succession, Planning Team Financial Advisors is here to help you work toward achieving your financial goals. With locations in Bismarck, Garrison, and Center, our full-service team of professionals are dedicated to helping you work towards achieving your financial goals. Visit us online, planningteam.com. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA and SIPC. Investment advice offered through GWM Advisors, LLC, doing business as Goss Advisors, a registered investment advisor. GWM Advisors, LLC, and Planning Team Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Have real questions about your future? Here's your real answer. BSC offers hands-on training and a real college experience, making your future a reality. You don't have to travel far and wide for a really great education. Check us out at bismarckstate.edu.
BNC has been here for over 25 years.
We're still a community bank that's there for you.
When you come in with your business plan, your vision, your idea, we can make it a reality.
I love seeing projects come alive for our clients.
We're real people helping real people.
We know you, and we're always happy to see you.
We build relationships. You're part of the BNC family.
We are part of the community.
It's what we're built on.
Yours truly, BNC.
Got big plans? No matter what the size of the project, Bobcat of Mandan has a tough Bobcat skid steer or track loader for any job. Call Bobcat of Mandan and rent the perfect machine. Rentals are available by the day, week, or month with multiple attachment options, and even a trailer when available. Special weekend rates too. Bobcat of Mandan also has Doosan excavators and payloaders, plus Coyote tractors for rent. Get the work done fast. Bobcat of Mandan on the Strip.
Would you enjoy waking up and not having to reach for your glasses? See clearly with LASIK from Bismarck LASIK. Imagine no more hassles or expenses of glasses and contacts. At Bismarck LASIK, our highly experienced LASIK surgeon, Dr. Stephen Wexler, and our state-of-the-art clinic can improve your vision through a quick corrective procedure that's affordable and life-changing. Book your free consultation with Bismarck LASIK. Call 701-222-2020, 701-222-2020, or schedule online at bismarcklasik.com.
The North Dakota Safety Council is dedicated to preventing injuries and saving lives by offering hundreds of safety courses. The NDSC helps workers return home safely every night and make sure schools are ready for any emergency. Our first aid training and defensive driving courses help save lives. We empower people through personal protection courses and operational risk assessments for businesses. We're a private, nonprofit organization committed to making North Dakota's homes, schools, communities, workplaces, and roads the safest in the nation. Learn more at ndsc.org.
Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network as we roll into the 11 o'clock hour as the Bison and East Tennessee State just kicked it off as they're underway in Fargo. And if you're looking for a place to catch the game, well, it's on up at the Stadium Lodge. Full-service menu, specials going on, so make the Stadium Lodge your home this afternoon. Well, we roll into our next guest, and joining me on the phone right now is the editor of the Hoopster and Miss Hoopster as we take a look at our statewide preview from A Guru's Look. Perry Hansen joining me this morning. Perry, how are you this morning?
Good. Thanks for having me on, Scott. Appreciate it.
Well, you got it. As certainly it's something that I started a number of years ago with your father, Don, and when he was around, and I certainly know that he enjoyed doing it, and I just got to say, you picked up right where he left off, Perry, and I'm sure it's a fun each and every year for you.
Yeah, and I just the book's really been it's been a good project. I just enjoy going out and seeing the people, and then getting to some games. It's kind of nice to get to games and see people there. Good crowd last night at the Bismarck High games, and so it's kind of fun to see that.
Yeah, certainly. Well, we'll take a look as we roll through this. We'll take a look at our statewide preview. We'll start with the Class A. We're gonna take a look at the girls from across the state. We'll start with the state Class A. Certainly underway. Some teams about 3 games into it, and let's start out in the Eastern Conference. Perry, where, according to your regional predictions, we'll start with the first 3. You've got West Fargo, Davies, and Devils Lake in your top 3 there. So certainly maybe not a surprise there and when you put those 3 there.
No, I looking at it, West Fargo has a couple of really nice players coming back, and they've got an all-stater coming back, and 6'1" junior Marilee Simon. She gets a double-double every night, and if my memory serves me correct, she's already signed at SU. She's really a good track athlete as well. And they also got a girl by the name of Chloe Fowle that's was an all-conference player coming back that gets 15 and 6 for them. And he has 13 letter winners returning at West Fargo, and they were right there last year knocking on the door. And so I kind of thought they had the best talent coming back. And then Davies, I picked second. They were the state runner-up a year ago, and they're returning all-conference player in Ava Wild. And I look for her to probably get some all-state votes this year, and she gets 9 and 6. And then she's got a couple of her daughters, Taylor and Ashton Safransky, and playing for coach, and she just does a nice job with her team. And Davies has good numbers, so it's more of a rebuild a lot of times for them than it is for other squads. And then I got Devils Lake third, and Coach Klein has just done a really good job up there. He did lose 7 seniors from last year's teams, but he returns a really nice player, an all-conference player, in Rachel Dolan.
Yep.
She gets 11 and 8, and then there's a Nelson girl up there, a senior, that helps out quite a bit. And he was telling me he likes a couple of his ninth graders. He's got a really young group coming along, and he's got a couple that played last year and by the name of Tori Fee and Cabrin Fertel, and so he's kind of excited a little bit about potentially a couple more years down the road he can make a pretty good run again, like he did the last couple of years. But there's a team out west, out east there now that I thought you got to kind of watch out for them. They brought a little Western flavor with their new coach and longtime assistant Kenyon Wingenbach from Century, and I think everybody knows how successful that Century program has been, and he's going to bring a different style of defense to that eastern half of the state. He's going to guard a lot more man-to-man, and I think that's going to be once he gets his program where he wants it to be, I look for them to be pretty strong.
Well, then that leads me into your next three, where you've got Cheyenne, Shanley, and Red River. And we might as well just finish out the top 8 where you've got South and Wahpeton. But you just talked about West Fargo, Cheyenne, and I think the big key right there that you said is that the level of defense that Kenyon Wingenbach is going to bring into that program, and not only that program, into the whole EDC conference on the girls' side.
Absolutely, and Century played that pressure defense for a lot of years, and it led to a lot of success, obviously. And he does have some nice players coming back to start that rebuild. He's got a girl by the name of Maya Metcalf. He's 6'2" junior that is getting a lot of looks, I think, on the college side. And then he's got a Manson girl, and of course, for anybody that's from the Minot area, they know a little bit about the Mansons. I'm sure she can shoot if she's a Manson. So, but she had 48 threes a year ago. So he does have a little bit to build from, and give him a year or so to get that program where he wants defensively. And I do think they will be somebody that easily could surprise people here by the end of the year.
Yeah, and then you look at Shanley, Red River, South, and Wahpeton in year 8, and when you look at, we'll just say the bottom half, and then you got North Valley and Central, but anybody in that bottom half, Perry, that maybe people got to be on the lookout for that can maybe sneak up and surprise somebody, or maybe there's a couple down there.
Well, Fargo North returned like 4 starters, and they were all kind of in that there's not really a standout player, but they play pretty well together. A team you may have to kind of watch. I talked to the coach from Wahpeton a year ago, and he was really excited. He had some 8th and 9th graders that he was really excited about. And I think, that's somebody maybe by the end of the year, once they get some playing time, they might be a surprise. Red River always does a nice job. Coach Ripplinger up there is always got kids ready to go by tournament time. So it's kind of a throw them in there. Fargo South has a 1,700-point scorer coming back and 2-time All-State player, and Addie Wagner. I mean, that's a lot of points, to be thrown in there. But she could help lead, and Shanley's got a couple girls. It's kind of hard to pick that lower half, but I look for those top 3 teams in that East, Scott, to be pretty good. And Cheyenne maybe to be somebody that's going to maybe surprise. There's some good players down there. I think those 4 probably look to me to be the top 4.
And Perry, we all know what happens when you get into the EDC tournament or the WDA tournament. You could say, yep, these are the 4 I think are going to stay. But, somewhere, somehow along the way, whether it's on the boys' side or the girls' side, somebody's going to beat somebody they're not supposed to beat, and then all hell breaks loose.
I would really like to look back sometimes, Scott. You and I have been around the league for a long, long time. And
yep.
We're mostly West, but we see it in the East. Has there ever been a year where the top 4 seeds get in that there isn't a surprise? I'd like to look at that sometime and see that. So you're exactly right.
Exactly. Well, that takes a look there. Now let's look out here, Perry, an area you're a little bit more familiar with, but the WDA, and we'll just look at the top 4 you've got there. You've got Century, Bismarck High, Legacy, and Minot in your top 4, and certainly, really, in my mind, probably no surprise whatsoever in those top 4.
No, and a lot of coaches asked me after they got their books, how come you picked Minot 4? I had them too, and I'm just like, So they're a team that could be pretty surprising, and maybe not surprised to some of the coaches. But you gotta just, until somebody starts beating Century, you just have to look at that program. And they return the Gatorade Player of the Year and Logan Nisley. And if you haven't had a chance to watch Logan Nisley play basketball, she's worth the price of admission. She's really, really a good player, and she's going to have a lot of coaches coming in and watching her play. And I know she's really good in volleyball as well, but she's getting 21 a game, and she's every bit as good. And they got a Kinnebrew girl up there that's really good, and they've got a bunch of girls that played a lot. Coach Metz did such a great job for all those years, and I'd like to congratulate Coach Metz on just his career and the outstanding job that he did. And, then they brought in somebody from the boys staff, Coach Wellstad, who I'm very familiar with. And, again, he'll probably change a few things up. So once the girls get comfortable and with his system, I think he's going to have those girls playing pretty well. But there's a Fletcher girl, a Fridley girl, which it's a name that may ring a bell to some people, and a Clark girl. I don't know if she'll be as good as her dad. I'm sure if we ask Fred, he'll tell us otherwise. But until somebody starts beating Century on a regular basis, it's just hard not to pick them. And I do like the BHS team this year. Those girls have been playing now for 3-4 years of varsity ball. And I watched them play now a couple of times. I've been watching. I had to work the clock last night, so I got a firsthand look. But Peyton Newmiller's an all-conference player. She's going to get some votes for All-State this year. I really like her. She's a 5'9" junior. And then they got the Gerving twins, and they just play so hard.
Yep.
Last night I watched, and Peyton got 6 threes, and he's got a really nice deep team. He's got a Holsworth girl that plays a lot, a Gullison girl that plays a lot. He's got a young sophomore by the name of Jersey Berg, who's looked pretty good for 2 games. That's for those of you up in that Grenora area, that's Hunter's daughter. So I mean, I like the way she's looked the last couple of days. And they had a lot of success in volleyball. Those 2 teams, Century and BHS, played for the state title in volleyball this year. And so coming off of some success, a little bit of success there. Helps a lot. I do like Legacy. They got a really nice player in 6-foot junior, Alyssa Eckroff. She gets about 11 and 5, and she did the AAU circuit this year, and a lot of coaches were talking about her, and she's really athletic at 6 foot. And you got a Sand girl that's played quite a bit for them, and I just like the job Coach Petrick does. They're steady, and they're always going to be a team that at tournament time that you're going to have to play well to knock them off. And then we get to the Minot team, and you and I have had conversations on the B side about how young the teams are. They played a 7th grader last year, and she got 12 and 5 as a 7th grader. And the girl's name is Maggie Fricky. So she's an 8th grader this year, and I would expect numbers to go up continuously as she continues through her high school career. And they got a Lundy girl up there that's really a nice player, a sophomore. She's getting 15 and 7, and an Evenson girl. So they got 3 girls, Scott, that are coming back that are double-digit scorers. And get me 3 double-digit scorers and a few fill-ins, and you're gonna score some points. But like I said before, a couple of the coaches had them as high as 2. Yep. So, and then Mandan has got a couple. They got a really nice freshman as well, McKenna Johnson, and there's a Harris girl over there, or just another one coming along. But the Sheldon girl over there, Jamestown has some nice players as well. That top 6 is. I watched Jamestown last night, and of course, how athletic the Knobway girl is. If my memory serves me right, she was qualified in the discus, the shot, and the 100-meter dash last year. State track.
That is correct.
And then the high jump as well. And when last year I was doing that same game, the ball got stuck up between the rim and the backboard. And most times in a girls' game, you got to go get another basketball. Yeah. Not her. She just jumped up and got it out of there. I thought that was
Saw it.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. Yeah, then they got the two Falk girls that really play well together, and so that league, until somebody knocks off Century 2 through 6 or 7, Scott, that's going to be an absolute crapshoot for who's going to make it out of there. And I think you're going to see it in the scores all year long.
And we all know and we all love it. That's what makes the West Region basketball tournament in the first part of March, Perry, probably one of the greatest tournaments in the state of North Dakota.
Oh, and you're not wrong. And we're a little biased as we live out here, but we just have seen it so many times. There's nothing better than a Saturday at the WDA and the EDC, if people want to go out and watch basketball. But Watford City, Scott, is going to be also okay. They're going to beat some teams. They lost quite a bit from a team that qualified for state, and they had a couple of young girls coming back. But that's a team that's going to get some wins throughout the year. And Belcourt's got a nice player, and St. Mary's under new coaching again. The boys' coach now was the old girls' coach, and B.J. Etzold, and Darryl Bearstail was back into the coaching, first time in the Class A ranks. But I'm sure that he'll do a nice job for St. Mary's as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and again, we're going to have a lot of coverage on that for you as we roll on through the basketball season. But the WDA, the EDC, there's kind of your inside look from the editor of the Miss Hoopster, Perry Hansen. Perry, we're going to take a short break here. When we come back, let's dive into that wild and wacky Class B as we got to go around the state into 8 different regions, Perry. We'll do that when we come back, all right? Back with more after this timeout on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know. Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash litter valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Inspections are free to ensure your vehicle is always in peak condition.
Thinking service? Think
Let's go
Tires
back to
Plus.
the stadium and Overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Scott Woodmansee with you. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network as we roll through our Miss Hoopster preview on the Class A side and the Class B side. I'm joined by the editor of both of those books, Perry Hansen. And certainly, Perry, now we take a look at the Class B side of things, and we'll just real quick, I'll give you your initial rundown of your preseason power poll. Central Cass 1, Kindred 2, no surprise there. Grafton 3, Linton HMB 4, Beulah 5, Kenmare 6, Four Winds Minnewacan 7, Thompson 8, Shiloh 9, and then you've got Rugby in there at 10. And that leads us into our inside look in these different regions. And we go out to Super Region 1. And, boy, Perry, it starts right there as you've got 2 teams ranked on top. Your number 1, your number 2. That's where they stand right now. The unfortunate thing is one of those teams is not going to play at the state Class B basketball tournament in March.
Yeah, it's been that way now for about 2-3 years. And when I went out to sell advertising this year, I went to Kindred and they said, please pick Central Cass first, because when you pick us, we get second. So I kind of chuckled. And when I went up to Castleton, I heard the exact same thing from another guy up there. He goes, just keep picking Kindred, and we always make it. And I just got a chuckle. But boy, are those 2 really good teams, Scott. I actually would love to drive out and watch maybe one of those 2 games when they play. Last year it came down to 2 free throws with .1 on the clock, and Kindred missed both free throws. The game went into overtime, and Central Cass got them in overtime. And I don't expect things to be a whole lot different this year. That's 2 of and you're right, it's a shame maybe that 2 of them can't play in the state tournament, but a lot of people say that's what makes the B great. And, leading off with, I did pick Central Cass, and it's mainly because they have 8 girls returning that get 6 to 8 points or better.
Wow.
And so they're really deep. And 3 of them are all region players. One of them's an all-state player, and DeConte Smith, Holzer girl and a McKinnon girl are 2-time all-region players. They got a Cotton girl out there. So just because they had so much depth, they can run 6 to 8 kids. I just had this year I just decided to give Central Cass that nod, and Kendrick's right there. I mean, go ahead.
And Perry, you and I both know if you can run 8 deep in Class B girls basketball, that's a pretty solid basketball team.
Absolutely. And I'd take that even in Class A a lot of times. It's just, 8 girls. Give me eight athletes that are good in high school basketball, and I'd like to start with that every year. It's hard not to pick Kindred. I mean, they probably will stay 1-2, top 2 or 3 all year long in the poll, but they won the state when they were young. And in the last 2 years, they've been knocked off by Central Cass, and now they're all seniors, and they got a 6'1" senior there, that Abby Dukeshire. She committed to Alabama for softball. That'll tell you what kind of athlete she is. And she's been an all-state player for 2 years already. And then they got another all-state player, Taryn Johnson, who signed with Moorhead to play basketball. And so they start right off the bat with 2 6'1" all-state players returning. And then they've got another girl there by the name of Casey Berner and a Tina Fryer that comes in and helps. And for those of you in the football side of it, if you remember the name McQuillan from Kindred, there's a girl there that helps out. But they just didn't have as much depth maybe as Central Cass, but maybe as the season goes, we'll see how that goes.
And
they're awfully good.
Yeah, and I mean, Perry, and then you go down into that. Northern Cass, Richland, Lisbon, Sargent County, Hankinson, Tri-State. Unless there's any special, I just don't see anybody in the mix other than those 2. Do you?
Well, Northern Cass, Scott, would be right there in a lot of regions.
Okay.
They would be a team that if you took them out of Region 1, they would be right there with a lot of regions. And it's just unfortunate for those other teams. They're good teams, but I just don't know how they're going to have a hard time getting by those top 2 teams. Northern Cass has a lot. They got second in the volleyball, and they got an Emma Lucas girl that's really good, and a Hallie Crockett girl that's already got 1,000 points, and a Singer girl that are really nice players. And Richland's got a player that's been a 4-year starter. Scott, you and I talked about her 4 years ago, and she's still there. She's 1,000-point scorer already for Richland. But again, it's just so hard to get by those top 2 teams. And, there's some teams at the bottom that got nice players, but in the end, it's going to be really hard not to get by Central Cass or Kindred.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting out there in Region 1. Perry, then we go to Super Region 2. Your top 5 out there: Grafton, Thompson, Cavalier, Hatton, Northwood, and Mayport CG.
Yeah, Grafton, you were talking about my top 10 already through my top. They've already played 4 wins. And 4 wins knocked them off by about 13. She's in kind of a rebuild up there. She had a lot of seniors from the state championship team, including her daughter, who's already playing for UND. So that'll tell you what kind of caliber player she was. But they've got a girl by the name of Walker Demers up there, Scott. She's 6'3", and she signed at Northern already, and she is really good. She'll be a Miss Basketball candidate unless she gets injured throughout the year. She is really a nice player. She's all of 6'3", and then they've got a Hanson girl up there that's coming back. But Coach Steven does a nice job. It's just probably going to take a little while for them to get going. Thompson's got a lot of players returning that, nothing special. No one's really a high scoring player, but they're just a solid team. And Coach up there, Coach Brant Dick, he does a nice job with the girls up there. And Cavalier's got a couple good players. I picked him 3rd up there, Riley Burgess girl and Carrier girl. And one of the things the coach told me there is he said, he called me Coach Hansen, which I kind of like once in a while. But he goes, I'm returning my entire team. He said, I didn't lose a senior. And you know, and with Grafton kind of in a slight bit of a rebuild, and Thompson made, I think Cavaliers a team that you can watch up there in Region 2. And Haddon Northwood also has you know, a nice squad. They've got an Uglum girl there that's pretty good, and then they're playing a couple of freshman girls from last year. And then I'm not sure how this is going to go, but there's a brand new co-op up there this year, and it affected Region 2 and Region 1. And Finley, Sharon, Hope, Page dissolved into 2 schools. So the Finley and Hope kids went to play for Maple River, it's now called, and the Sharon kids all went up to Mayville to play with Mayville, you know, Portland, Clifford, Galesburg. So with those co-ops in mind, each team picked up a couple of pretty nice players out of the deal. So I think Mayport's a team that also could make some noise. That one's pretty low, a lot more wide open than Region 1. That one's going to be real interesting to see who comes out of Region 2 up there.
Yeah, Region 2, there's your look at Super Region 2. Then we look at one that's a little closer to home here, Region 3, which comprises District 5 and District 6. And really, probably no surprise there. We've seen the success that they've had on the volleyball floor. You got Linton HMB 1, Lemoore, Litchfield, Marion 2, Carrington 3, Kidder County 4, and Oaks at 5. And, you know, Kidder County always a team that you hear coming out of that region. But, Perry, your thoughts on what we can see in Region 3?
You know, and it's just those volleyball athletes. And Linton was in the regional final a year ago against the Carrington team, who was a nice team. The game went into 2 overtimes, and neither overtime Linton got a basket. So they were right there knocking on the door, and they've got a Richter girl down there that's just a really nice player. She committed to Valley City State as a 2-sport athlete, volleyball and basketball, and that's pretty special. Tegan Shear's a really nice player for them, and then they've got a lot of other ones. And they went to a little bit of that press system that the Bismarck High kids are doing now, both on the boys and girls system, and they thought they had enough depth to do that. And that's pretty surprising to have enough kids to do that kind of a system. You need 8 to 10 players to do that. But I think they're going to be the team to beat. Lemoore is probably going to be knocking on the door. They got a Muslin girl there that gets 19 and 6, and they return all their players as well, just like Cavaliers. So, and Lemoore's been there before. You know, they've had the Holland girls, and they've had some other good players, another Muslin a couple of years ago. And so I think that region is going to be a little tighter. Linton obviously gets a little bit of a nod. Carrington's got a really nice squad she's got a Granger girls there, but they had to replace a lot of kids from last year. So that's a team that, as the season goes, I think they'll be right there when it counts towards the end. And Griggs County might be a team. I don't have them in the top 4, but they might be a team, Scott, that could surprise. They had a co-op with the Binford and the Mid-Kona girls, and this is the second year of the co-op now. So I think after a year of playing together, they've got 2 really nice players, and a Larson girl and a Beckerl girl that are coming back that are good players. And you can never rule out Kidder County. He's always done a nice job, and they've had a nice run of players there as well. But those are probably the best teams coming back in Region 3.
Yeah, there you have Region 3. A look at Region 3. Then let's go into take a look at Region 4, and that comprises District 7 and 8. And a team we've talked about already. You got Four Winds Minnewacan, Langdon area Edmore Munich, a team that's always up on the upper echelon. Dunseathan at 3, and Nelson County in at 4. And then Benson County, there's your top 5 in those 2 regions. And your notes on the bottom of that one, this region will be extremely close.
And it will be. And right now, Four Winds has played Grafton, and I know they're playing an extremely tough schedule this year. And Scott, they've got 3 all-region picks back, and all of them get 16 points a game. So that was last year. So if you can give me 40 again, which I said this before, give me 48 points to start the game. That's pretty good start. But and the Rainbow girl was an all-stater a year ago as well. So they got a Daphneus girl and a Jackson girl. And they've already gotten a big win over Grafton. That was by double digits. So I looked for 4 wins to be really good. And you never can count Langdon out. They've been at that state tournament for seems like every single year, and they've got players back again. They got a Friesie girl that's been starting since she's been a sophomore, and she's getting 12-3, and then they've got a Henderson girl back that's a all-district player. And you just can't count Langdon out. The program's just pretty solid. And Dunseith might be a team that'll surprise you as well this year up there. They got 2 girls up there that are all region, all state type players, and Rosalind Strong and Braylon Davis. And so those 3 teams, along with Nelson County, they've got three pretty reasonable players in Ellingson, Johnson, and Emery. And then Benson County has an all-stater back in Quinn Nepple, and I think she was our cross-country champ again this year. And then and they got a Swanky girl too that's gets a lot of points. But there's a girl up there by the name of Hagler, if that rings a bell to you, up in that North Star Candu area. And
that name and Unland just don't seem to go away, do they?
I know, and when we get down the road here a little ways, surprisingly, I'm going to bring that name up as well. But yeah, she got 23 a game already, and she's young. She's just a sophomore, and so North Star's a team maybe that might surprise some people. That region's always been tight.
Yeah,
and so I expect it to stay the same.
Well, there's a look at the first 4 regions of Class B girls basketball. We'll take another short timeout. We come back. We'll round out with 5, 6, 7, and 8. Back with more on Overtime with Scott Woodmansee live from the Stadium Lodge.
You remember where this goes?
I don't know. Are you sure it was a clicking and not a zoom, zoom?
I think your quash later valve's stuck.
Do you even have insurance?
If we soak it, it should be good.
No matter how much you know or don't know about your vehicle, trust the experts at Tires Plus. Real answers from real mechanics.
Purchase 4 eligible Firestone tires and receive up to $120 in a prepaid Visa gift card. Thinking service? Think Tires Plus.
With 28 on the shot clock, 53 on the game clock, sends it inside. Here's Allie Nelson to the right side. Cheddar's open, 4-3. On low, she scores!
PSP Network has one mission: promoting our local athletes while delivering pro-quality broadcast coverage. Stay up to date with the PSP Network on Twitter @NetworkPSP and on Facebook @The PSP Network. Like and follow our social media for your chance to win. PSP Network. It's game day.
Whether you're looking for... Let's go back to the stadium and overtime with Scott Woodmansee.
Welcome back to the Stadium Lodge. Glad to have you aboard on the PSP Network as we continue to roll through our Miss Hoopster, look at the statewide predictions from Perry Hansen and the Miss Hoopster on the Class B girls basketball side of things. We've knocked out the first 4 regions. Now we'll take a look at 5, 6, 7, and 8, and we'll start right here, a region in our own backyard, and a new super region this year. There's Region 5 has our districts 9 and 10 have gone in and formed a super region. And, boy, we all know the chatter that that's coming out of Super Region 5. And we start with Shiloh Christian, Wilton Wing. Ironically, those two 1-2, but no love lost there. Garrison 3, Grant County 4, and Central McLean 5. Perry?
Yeah, and that's as you and I know, probably the reason for that behind that is Wilton went to the state tournament last year, and they made it into the semis, and the top scorer in the state got 27 and 10, and she was a girl by the name of Haley Quam, and she transferred to Shiloh during the off season and was able to obtain some eligibility, and she was able to play at the end of the volleyball season, and she's that's a big addition to a team that was already pretty good. So you get a 27-point scorer transfer in, and then you got Grace Kelly, who's also an all-region player there. She gets 11 and 4, and there's a Wolf girl up there that's really a nice player that was getting 7 and 3, and all-district player in Hannah Weston. She was getting 7-3, and Deidre Wood. And so, but you get the addition of a girl like Haley Klom, who's just, well, she's an all-state performer, and she's only a junior. And so that I actually had them picked and then heard about the transfer. So it was that close already. Because Wilton Wing did graduate some seniors a year ago, but they're still gonna be a good team, Scott. They got a Shook girl up there, a Beckman girl, and I'm thinking by the end of the year when they get a little used to each other, they're gonna be right there. I expect those two teams to be right there all the way to the end. A team you got to watch out for is Garrison. I was leaning towards picking them a little bit higher when we started getting information in, and then I turned around and qualified for state in volleyball.
Yeah.
And so that's success sometimes gives girls and athletes confidence, and they roll in and they got a girl by the name of Cedar Perkins up there that's a really nice player. She gets 15 a game, and she was an all-region player. And they also got a girl by the name of Carly Klein, who's an all-region player coming back, and she got 21 rebounds in one game. And she has a really high amount in the top returning coming back, and that's a lot of rebounds in one game.
Yeah, it is.
She must have been playing against you and I, because there was a lot of misses. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, or the lack of boxing out.
Yeah, maybe that could be. Could be that too as well. And then Grant County, I picked 4 in that region. She just does such a nice job, and the program is always well established. And you kind of touched on it. They went to a super region this year, and I think a lot of this is due to numbers throughout the state. And from what I've been hearing, is numbers throughout Class B and A and Class A basketball are just down in girls basketball, and I'm not sure what there is attributing to that. But I know Grant County's numbers were getting pretty low, and they've already had the co-op in boys, so I don't know if that's coming down the road. But she just does such a nice job, and I think those are the 4 best teams. Everybody else, Washburn's got some young players, but they might be a year or 2 away yet. They're still trying to play 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. So, but other than that, those top 4, Shiloh with the addition of Quam is probably could have been higher in the overall poll as well. So we'll see how that one pans out.
Yeah, that certainly, when you bring somebody like that into your program, it certainly adds just a little bit more strength to it. Now we will go up to, we'll go up north. We'll call it the north, not quite the northwest corner, but close. Right up 83 and around that area, up in the Minot area. District 11 and 12, which compose Region 6. And Perry up there, you've got the Rugby Panthers at 1 coming out of there. Mohall, Lansford, Sherwood, our Redeemers, and Glenburn are your top 4 out of Districts 11 and District 12.
Yeah, and this region was really hard to pick. The votes were all over the place with the coaches. So you sit there and you try to comprise how you want to do it. And it was really, in the end, Rugby just had just a little bit more than the rest. But they got a Heidelball girl that's, I believe a sophomore that's returning, that's an all-region player. And if you remember back to the good rugby boys team here a few years ago, that would have been a brother playing. And then they've got a Hager girl that I really like. And I've watched rugby enough times. I got some relatives up there, and they've always participated in my Hoopster Classic. And I'm just really impressed with how they're coached. They just really do a nice job. They play good, hard man-to-man defense, and they're well coached, and they're just kind of hard to beat at tournament time. But then I move over to Mohall, and you were talking about it already. The Unlin name. She's 6'2" and only a junior, so guess what? Next year we're probably talking about her again. But she's a double-double already. She's 21 and 10, and they got an Abernathy girl that's getting 14 and 6, and she's already got 1,200 points already in her career. So she's been playing for quite some time to get to 1,200 points. And something that happened up there, Scott, that I was unaware of, I just kind of found out here about 2 weeks ago. They had a coaching change up there. Coach Brackenberry is no longer doing the girls program, and and I couldn't even get a name as to who it was. But what I was told, it was a girl that played at NDSU that got hired on there to teach, and she took over the program here. So that coaching change will make it interesting to see how everything gels together up there with Mohall.
Sure, absolutely.
And because he was there for a long time, and he just he's always done a pretty nice job with his kids. And our Redeemers has got some really nice players up there, Scott, and I picked them third. And she's got 3 or 4 8-point scorers. They got an all-region player back by the name of Maya Vibeto, and they're always right there at the end. And then Glenburn qualified for the state last year, and that's that's just what makes Class B so awesome, is that they throw a parade and everything for the for the kids because they qualified for state, and they got players back from that team. They've got Laura Lee McIvers back, and they've got a couple other contributors. So I picked them 4, but there's still some teams. I like mine at Ryan. They've got an Upton girl up there that's a really nice player, and they got a couple others. A team you really want to watch out for, or a player in particular, if they could gel it together, is West Oak Newburgh. They got a Broughton girl up there, and she is really good, Scott. She's an all-state player as a junior, and they've got another all-district player by the name of Tavares going with her. But that Broughton girl is already in that 1,000-point range already, and they might surprise some people towards the end of the year. That region at tournament time, it could go a number of ways. I just don't see anybody stepping forward and saying they're the legit favorite.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun one.
So keep your eye out on Region 6. And then we go to Super Region 7. Always a fun one as well. And in your what you have there, Perry, you've got the Beulah Miners at 1, Bowman County at 2, Heart River 3, Mott Region 4, and the Buccaneers from Beach at 5. Your top 5 there out in Super Region 7.
Yeah, and Beulah's got 3 really nice players coming back. They got a Zerhoff girl that's 17 and 9. They've got a Beauchamp girl that's a really nice player coming back. She gets 16 and 12. They've got a Walker girl up there, and she's a nice player. And then they got Paige Mill. They just got 4 really nice players coming back. They got upset at the Beulah in the regionals in volleyball, but so maybe they'll come out of that a little hungry. Bowman County has a Rhoda. I hope I pronounced this right. Rodakowski girl and a Powell girl that are really nice players. And then there's also a Fisher girl up there. So I look for Bowman County to really push Beulah, push them pretty hard. And all the coaches were picking Heart River third up there, and it wasn't really because they have standout players, but they just got a bunch of hard workers, and they really like the way the coach does things up there. And they just got a bunch of 5, 6-point scorers. So I look for Heart River to be pretty good. And then Mott Regent has some really nice players back. They got a Rafferty girl back that's an all-region player, and a Zentner girl that's a really nice she gets 10 points a game. And then he's got 6 girls back. So we go to that depth thing again. He's got 6 girls back that gets 6 points or better. So again, if you got a lot of girls that can play, that helps quite a bit. And Hettinger Scranton is still going to hang around a little bit. They finally lost a lot of those good players that they've had to run with here the last 2 or 3 years, but their point guard's still back in Bailey Pierce. But other than that, it's Beach might be somebody. Trinity's always got a couple good players, but I look for Beulah and Bowman County to probably be the 2 better ones out there.
Yeah, Beulah and Bowman County had a Super Region 7, as you said. That volleyball team of Beulah, a team that, thought might have a run at the state tournament, a big upset there. So certainly I'm guessing those girls are kind of on the revenge path as they turn to the basketball season. Then now we go up to the northwest corner of the state, Districts 15 and 16. And up there, Perry, a team that's looking to make a trip back to the state tournament, led by their head coach, Mike Zimmer. Kenmare, Trenton, led by Bob Turcott, Partial, Stanley, and then Powers Lake at 5. And my understanding, Perry, is that, and I'm sure you'll touch on her, but I think Bob Turcott, talking to him earlier this week, he's got another one coming up that's young that said keep an eye on this young lady. Your thoughts on Region 8, Perry?
Kenmare went to the state tournament a year ago, and he's got 3 players back that played a lot on that team, and one of them is his daughter, Katie Zimmer, and then he's got another younger daughter that played quite a bit too, and then they got a Strokeland girl up there that's an all-region player, and a Miller girl that was all district. If you remember the state tournament, she hit a bunch of big threes in the first round. They didn't win the game, but she hit a bunch of big threes towards the end as a freshman or as an 8th grader. So she's just a freshman. But Kenmare's really got Mike Zimmer. I saw him a little bit this summer and talked to him, and he's pretty excited. He's got a nice little program getting built up. They're going to be good. He thinks they got a chance to be pretty fair or pretty decent for a few years here. And then, like you said, Coach Turcotte, he just I think you don't get to 400 plus wins for no reason at all. And he just always seems to have players coming at all the time. And currently he's led by his daughter coming back, JC. She's getting 16 and 12, and he's got 5 to 6 players that go along with it that get 6 points. And I don't ever count out Coach Turcotte.
I don't think you ever can, Perry.
No, yeah, that's a lot of wins. And he's done such a nice, and they've been there, and they've been there, and they got to the regional final a year ago, and they played. Kenmare got them late, and and so I think those 2 teams. Parshall's got a couple of really nice players, and a Fox girl and a Winter Old Rock for another one, and then Divide County's got a player or 2 that's not too bad, but I think when you get right down to it, Powers Lake's got a Frederickson girl that's pretty good. But I think in the end, you're probably going to look at Kenmare and then probably Trenton and maybe Parshall sneaking in there a little bit as well.
Yeah, and one thing I can tell you too, Perry, about that Region 8, and you talked about Divide County, had a chance also to visit this past week with their head coach, Kent Harding, and boy, an unfortunate situation for him. I know he's got a couple of gals, couple of big gals up there, and unfortunately he's lost them both due to some knee injuries. So certainly that's going to change the tide for the Maroons up in Divide County up there.
Yeah, and then and most, well, even it's getting to a point in Class A, most teams just can't. It's hard to recover from that. Just due to numbers. And I had heard the same thing that you had heard, and that's the one thing about doing a hoopster pick. I do it back in September, and there's a lot of things that can change, and I like listening to fans tell me, how the hell did you pick them when they were I said, well, I do this back in September, and I said, let's just wait till the end of the year and see how close I get, and then you can pick on me. But I still can't. I'm still not as good as my dad. I don't know how he did it, but
well, certainly he was the guru. But based on this, Perry, you've got Central Cass, Grafton, Linton HMB, Four Winds Minnewacan, Shiloh, Rugby, and Beulah and Kenmare in that state tournament. And again, as you said, things change. But based on that, nonetheless, it should be another wild and wacky girls Class B basketball season.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I kind of changed a little bit. When Dad was running the book, he just picked whoever was in the top region as in the top 8. Whoever he picked, that went to the top 8, and that wasn't always a reflection of who the best 10 teams were going in, but nonetheless, it's going to be an exciting girls season. I look forward to it, and I'd like to get out to some Class B games a little bit more now that I retired from teaching and basically retired from coaching. I'd like to get out and get to some girls games and watch some of these teams play.
And I know too, Perry, we're gonna if you're gracious enough, we're gonna give you probably a run behind the mic coming up at the end of this month with that Mandan Holiday Tournament.
Well, that's my understanding. I don't know if you have 6 mics there. I'll probably talk too much, though. I don't know.
and Perry, we just got a few minutes left before we round out the show, and certainly we want to thank you. And it was brought to my attention, Perry, that a couple of weeks ago, I mean, we talking about holiday tournaments, and we can touch more on on it next week, when we break down the boys. But you've got a tournament of your own coming up this month.
We do, and my brother-in-law, I got to give him all the kudos. But my dad and him started a thing called the Hoopster Classic, and they combine it with the Dale Brown Classic. But it's basically the same teams stay 2 nights in a row, and Scott's just done an unbelievably good job of getting teams in from all over the state, and it's nice. You get some matchups up there that you may not normally see during the regular season due to distance traveled. And I'm just taking a look here at the schedule, and it's just going to be a really good. He's got a good group there again. That's on the 30th of December for the girls, and we also do one on the boys' side as well. So, if a guy could get up to watch some of those games, the Minas State Dome and the Minas State Odd are gracious enough to let us use their basketball facilities. But we got Dunsea's coming, Minor Ryan, our Redeemers, Shiloh plays Langdon, Beulah plays rugby. So we got some good matchups going in those games.
Yeah, and
that's December 30th at the Minot Auditorium, and so if you want to get up there, you can watch 5 games throughout the day or 6 games throughout the day, starting at 12:30 and finishing up with the 8:00 game with Beulah and rugby. So that's a good chance for you to get out and watch some Class B basketball and some pretty good teams.
Yeah, and it was brought to my attention by Nick Hallberg. Is that we're gonna have that right here on the PSP network.
Oh, that's all. I appreciate the coverage. And ironically, you say that, and I'm actually hunting pheasants today out in western half of the state, and I'm with Scott Grockow, and he was telling me that you guys were going to potentially do some coverage, and I really appreciate that. I think you guys have always done a great job. This PSP network is it's catching on. From what I hear, a lot of people really like it, and you guys just do such a good job of getting coverages, not only just in basketball but all sports. And I think the people of North Dakota just got to figure out how to find you. And I think once they figure that out, I think things are going to go well for you.
Yeah, well, we're working on that, and certainly it's something that again, you when you work with the guys I work with, and quite frankly, none of us have a dog in the race, other than the simple fact that. I think it meets into the mission statement of the PSP network is to give these kids as much coverage as possible, and being able to do it on an audio and a video side of things certainly is something that really we enjoy doing, and then that really was the one thing that triggered us, to be a part of this network, and guys, and I think you said it right. We're working on it. We're going to get it there. We're going to get people to know, where we're at and find it. But just to provide that kind of coverage, I think really goes a long way for some of these student athletes in the state of North Dakota.
And the amount of games you guys cover and the wide range of games that you cover is probably more than just your average, radio station does. And, and you gotta, it's a digital world now. So you got to kind of get out there and, and I made that switch on the Hoopster here a couple of years ago, and a lot of coaches were buying my digital version this year, so you can actually have the book,
and as
you can get a book right on your phone. It's right on your phone, and it costs you the same as buying it at a store or buying it from me or whatever you choose to do, and it's on your phone the whole entire year, and it's kind of nice to have on the bus trips and things like that, or some of the road trips that you go to.
And as you did that, Perry, your father rolled over in his grave.
Oh, yeah. I got a lot of stories there. Yeah. And we say that every year, but it's sure nice to not have to write everything down on paper and pen in a notepad anymore like we used to. So,
Perry, where can folks find you? I mean, if they want to buy this, if they're looking to find the Hoopster, or just in general, where they can go and find you, out in that social media world, so to speak.
Well, I've got a Facebook page, and it's just look up North Dakota Hoopster and you'll find it. And then I've also got a Twitter feed, and I try to do the best I can at reporting scores throughout the year. And I'd like to get a lot of help if people could get on my Twitter and help me with some of the Class B side of that. Because I'd like to post those scores on Twitter, because it's a part of what because it's promoting the high school athletes, and that's what the book's about, and that's what you guys are about, and I want to promote that to the high school and the high school athletes, so they get that chance to get a little coverage. And I've got a website. You can order books right off the website, and then I've got a lot of locations throughout the state of North Dakota where you can just pick up a book. I just got a guy today that just to tell you how this works is he's from Williston, and he wanted to order a book online. And so he left his phone number, and I called him. I said, by the way, you could stop in at Sportabout and buy those at the local sporting goods store. And he goes, oh, I didn't even know that. And so, I've got a list of all the locations. The main ones, if you're in the big cities, are all the Shields and Barnes and Nobles. But I've got a list on my Facebook site that shows where all of the books can be picked up at local stores. And then obviously you can order online, and you can get the digital version as well. So,
well, if you don't have one, make sure you go out and get one. And certainly, Perry, a fine job. We'll do it again next week, where we go around the state and we'll break down the boys' Class A and B side. Perry, hey, give my give a hello to Scotty for me. And again, thanks for the great work, taking some time out of hunting. And we'll talk. We'll do it again next week, my friend. All right.
It sounds great. Thanks a lot, Scott. I appreciate the help and all the coverage you guys do and what you do for North Dakota athletes. It's,
we love it.
Lot. You've done a lot. I'm telling you, a lot of people appreciate you guys. So.
All right. Appreciate it, my friend. Have a great rest of the weekend. We'll talk again next week, all right?
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks.
You got it. There you have it. Perry Hansen, the editor of The Hoopster and The Missed Hoopster. As next week we will have Perry back, and we'll break down the Class A and B boys side of things. Well, we want to thank all of our guests today. Jordan Wilhelm from Bismarck High Boys Basketball, Brandon Shaver from Mandan, also to Nate Wellstead, and certainly a big thanks to Perry Hansen. Basketball coming up. Go to PSP Network. Check us out there. Follow us on Facebook, social media, Facebook, Twitter. We're out there. Check this week's upcoming schedule. It's going to be a busy one, and we're certainly looking forward to bringing you the coverage right here on the PSP Network. That's going to do it for today. Until next time, Scott Woodmansee saying so long from the Stadium Lodge.
This has been a presentation of the PSP Network. We thank you for listening to Overtime with Scott Woodmansee, live from the stadium. Make sure to head to the social media platforms for the PSP Network to like and follow, to stay up to date with all things sports in Western North Dakota. PSP Network, it's game day.